you that one of the reasons why Trump won is because he poses as if he's a kind of populist because of the milquetoast neoliberal Democratic Party that didn't speak to working people, didn't speak to poor people, wars around the world, genocide in Gaza. I'm not a defender of it.
Cornell,
don't put me in that space.
All right, but Cornell,
Piers, look what you have to tell the truth about the Republican Party and their greed and their neo-fascist sensibility.
Cornell, I do need to have one thing clarified. What is the milquetoast reference?
Yes.
What's milquetoast?
Spineless, no backbone, no principle, lacking in integrity and character.
But did you vote
That's
for
true
him?
for both parties. That's all I'm saying.
Did
From
you
Martin
vote for
Luther
him?
King
It's a great phrase. I just haven't heard it before.
Integrity, honesty, decency, character. You don't see it in Trump.
Cornell.
You don't see it in
Biden.
You do. You don't see it in either party.
Vote for
That's all
Joe
I'm saying.
Biden. Cornell,
We just disagree on that. But we'll see.
Okay, I want to ask Harry. Okay, look, I want to ask Harry this.
Did he vote for Joe Biden?
Let me ask Harry this question. Harry Sissons, there's going to be
you say what?
Hang on,
Did you vote
Cornell,
for
hang
Joe
on.
Biden?
Hang on, guys. I'm going to Harry. Harry, there's going to be an executive
I
order.
voted for myself.
Cornell, time out. I'm going to Harry for a question.
Okay.
Here's my question for Harry. There's going to be up to 200 executive orders unleashed, right? Many have already been signalled, many have already been announced. Some were in the speech, some afterwards. We know what a lot of these things are going to be, Harry. I'm just curious, genuinely curious, which ones you have a big problem with, right? For example, would you contest the fact there is a crisis on the southern border?
No, I definitely think that there's a problem at the border, but it's just interesting that Donald Trump is declaring a national emergency on this, given the fact that the numbers right now at the border are similar or even lower than they were under Donald Trump's
administration. Well, the reason he's done that is because nearly 10 million... Well, hang on, Harry, the reason is that nearly 10 million illegal immigrants got into America on the southern border in the last 4 years. That's an emergency.
Actually, that's not true. The majority of people who have come in recent years have come in through asylum, meaning that they are legal. This guy, you can keep saying yes, it is all you want. You just don't know what you're talking about. The majority of people who come in have come in through asylum, meaning that they're legal immigrants.
So how many illegal immigrants came in?
System?
In your special numbers that you find in some special place?
Can you just
out
be
of your
quiet?
ass, how many
just
came
stop
in?
talking. Just stop. Nobody needs to hear you speak.
No, I want to know
right
how
now.
many you think
The overwhelming
came in
majority
illegally.
of people come in through asylum. Now, Joe Biden tried to rewrite the asylum laws to make it harder for people to claim asylum improperly, and Republicans like Donald Trump blocked the bill. So it's fascinating to me that this is Donald Trump's day one executive order, and it's also for this Ferguson guy over here. You're saying, can you be quiet for 5 seconds?
Can you just agree with me, Harry? Harry, to be fair,
hold on,
Harry. To remind you, the first thing you did was agree with me. There's a crisis on the southern border. So why wouldn't you agree that there should be an emergency order?
Well, I'm just curious as to where the emergency is. I think there's a crisis of the law. The law is lacking. I would like to see Donald Trump actually try to rewrite the asylum laws.
All right, so you think there's a crisis, but you shouldn't do anything about it. All right. Do you think the cartel gangs should be designated terrorist groups? Yes or no?
Sure, no problem.
No problem with that. Great. Okay.
Wait, can I take?
No, hang on. Do you think do you think there should be more than 2 genders in America?
Yeah, I don't know what that executive order means. I don't know what the president declared.
It means there are 2 genders, male and female. Do you disagree with that?
How many genders are there, Harry?
Yeah,
come on, little guy. How many genders are there?
Again, these guys don't know what they're talking about, so they won't be able to answer.
How many genders are there?
How many genders are there, Harry?
How many genders are there?
What's the legal? I'm gonna use Joe Biden's answers. At least 2. At least 2. That satisfies.
Well, how many more other than male, female?
That's a TikTok answer.
There's at least 2.
Yeah.
There's at least 2.
Well, no, hang on. There's male and female.
Kid is like human brain
Donald
rot.
Trump says there's male and female. There are 2.
Okay, Dave.
How many more are there
now.
after male and female, Harry?
There's at least 2. Now, anyway, let me get back to
at
How
least
many
2?
more are there?
What are the other ones?
There's at least 2.
What are the other ones?
Harry, let's try it this way. You're a female. What is the other gender?
It's so funny. It's so funny how these conservatives just get time to lie on this show, but when I'm speaking, they all interrupt and there's no problem.
You've just been asked a very simple question, Harry.
Conversation with Piers, not you, Mr. Como. Relax for me.
Harry,
Take a
you
breather.
simply
Thank
got
you so
asked
much.
if there are at least 2 genders, how many more are there than male and female?
Piers, you asked me about Donald Trump's executive order. I'm trying to explain how legally it makes absolutely no sense and it's going to get sued in court. Then we go into culture wars with Dave Rubin and this Ferguson guy asking how many genders are there. I'm trying to answer your question. They're screaming their faces off about issues that don't fucking matter.
I'm asking you.
Oh, God, this child.
And Piers,
I'm asking you, Harry, how many genders are there?
Answering your question.
Harry,
Piers, I've answered your question.
Harry, how many genders are there?
2. There are at least 2.
Two or at least
are
two?
there 100?
Hang on,
Are there
Ben.
100?
Hang on, Ben. I've got
More
this.
or less than 100?
Can I answer the question?
Yes,
for
Cornell.
Brother Harris?
Answer the question.
Can I answer the question
Yes.
for Brother Harris? Because
Seven?
Brother Harris trying
Yes,
to hold
help
on.
him out, Cornell.
That according to Shakespeare, all of us are androgynous. There are men and there are women. There are different sides of human beings, all made in the image of a God that has a dignity and a sanctity. And if you're going to try to start demonizing precious trans folk, then I'm going to be fighting. But it's not. But
okay, Cornell, I agree with them. I agree with them. I agree. Don't
this
demonize
is all
trans
the left
folks,
has left. It's really
I've got to say, the torturous
No, that's not all the
answers-
left has left. We got a whole lot
I think when you're
more waiting for
reduced
you,
to
Brother
quoting
Rubin. You
Shakespeare,
just watch.
Cornell, when you're reduced to quoting Shakespeare
Empire,
about gender.
but it's going to be humanistic across the board.
Look at this cult member out there with so many MAGA hats. Take him off your head, buddy. It's weird.
I'm just showing why we won, bro.
Nobody's demonizing the weak. I'm for girls playing girls and
winning
girls
at the moment doesn't mean that you're right, brother. Just because you won at the moment doesn't mean that you're right.
Are in college
you know
sports?
that. You know that from history.
Dave Rubin, how many trans athletes are in college sports? Does anybody know?
If there's one biological male beating a girl in a sport,
yeah, look
it's one
at
too
this.
many.
This guy has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Now, can we get back to the executive orders I disagree with by any chance?
Yeah, sure. But what about that one, about the two genders?
Yeah.
I can't work out.
Two genders. Let's go back to that.
Well, hang on. I can't work out whether you agree or
it.
disagree. Donald Trump says specifically, Harry, there are two genders, male and female. That's it. You think there are at least two, which normally means there are more than two. So what are the others?
Interpret as you will, but I think that executive order is stupid.
Tell me, what are the others?
I've given you my answer.
What are the others?
You can interpret that as
Harry,
you will.
what are the other genders?
You guys can run wild with interpretations here. I'm telling you my answer is at least two. Now, on the legitimacy of the executive order, it makes no sense. What's legal mechanism for enforcement?
Harry,
that's what I'm asking.
This is why I hate TikTok babies.
Harry, when you say there are at least two genders...
Be quiet. Ted Cruz's buddy over here with the comb over needs to be quiet.
It's Piers talking to you.
I
simply want to know, Harry, you said you wanted to go back to the list of executive orders, whether you agreed or not. You say there are...
You have my answer, Piers. My answer doesn't change.
No, but your answer doesn't make any sense. What do you mean?
It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Piers, you can think my answer doesn't make any sense. You're going to ask me the question again. We're going to go back and forth. I'm
No,
going to give you the exact same answer.
What you
it makes no sense.
No,
this executive order is
I'm asking
nonsense.
you what you mean by at least two genders.
I'm saying at least two.
What does that mean?
At least there are. What do you? What's the? I'm not sure what you're confused
about.
Does
that mean there are more than two, or there are two?
There's at a minimum two.
This is exactly why the Democrats on these issues got themselves into so much difficulty.
You guys are such
because they
losers.
literally cannot explain what they're talking about.
Trump is a convinced.
Don't talk to Piers.
All right, don't all shout. I want Dave Rubin to respond. Dave Rubin, this to me is exactly why the Democrats lost the plot. They can't even explain what they mean when they say this crap.
Look, Harry perfectly exemplifies everything wrong with the modern left and the Democrat Party. He can't tell you how many genders there are, and then all he can do is hurl insults. That's exactly what the Democrats and the media machine has done. For you are a child.
Is the
That's not an
hypocrisy
insult.
not
You're a child.
astounding?
How old are you?
Is
12?
the hypocrisy not astounding? Do you feel no shame when you say something like that? Is the hypocrisy not absolutely astounding, Dave?
Be quiet. Get a job, kid. Listen, this is exactly
this smug,
nonsensical drivel is what everyone hates.
Look, is astounding.
Piers, if you may remember, what was it, a few months ago, I think it was a day before Joe Biden stepped down when Harry and I were on the panel, and he was saying how brilliantly sharp and never sharper oh my God, his brain is so great. Joe Biden is the best. And then the next day he gets the talking points from the DNC.
In all fairness.
And he's yes, they pay these people. It's as simple as that.
That's why Russia pays conservative commentators.
All right, let me ask Cornell. I want to bring Cornell back. I want to bring Cornell back. I want to bring Cornell back.
Company funneled right through.
I want to bring Cornell back. Cornell, this whole idea of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Trump is on the rampage about this. And I sort of feel he's right. I feel like it went way too far to the extent that mediocrity started to be pushed forward above meritocracy. Do you agree with that?
Well, you see, I was never one to be obsessed with DEI. The spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., which is not being manifested in our conversation, which is one of openness, sensitivity, recognizing people can agree and agree to disagree, and recognizing all of us are cracked vessels. And DEI began because of the vicious legacy of white supremacy in America, where you had 100 years of black people enslaved and another 100 years of Jim and Jane Crow. Now, does everybody on this screen agree that slavery and Jim Crow are evil?
Yes.
Can we get an agreement on that?
Of course, but America was not a white supremacist nation.
So we had to
They're not using
respond, and we had to do something about it. We had to do something about it. What that meant was there was already some mediocrity in the system before the black folk and brown folk and others came in. It's called white male mediocrity. That had been part and parcel. There was white male excellence too. There was white male mediocrity. And the question became broadening the pool to make sure you had merit and those who deserved assets. But what happened when you talk about the social engineering?
You don't solve former discrimination or present discrimination.
I'm not a social engineer. I don't. I want fairness.
All right, don't talk over each
other. Across the board.
Okay,
I don't want rhetoric. I want fairness across the board.
Let me bring in Ben. My question. I don't dispute. I don't dispute a lot of what Cornel just said, Ben. Other than it wasn't really.
But let me say this.
Well, hang on. Let me just make the point. I want to make the point. It wasn't really the answer to my question, which was: has the pendulum of DEI swung too far, where actually the same problem that Cornel identified rightly about what was going on in the slavery years, completely right to say that, but has it gone too far now as a corrective tool where actually mediocrity has surpassed meritocracy? And who does that help when that happens? I think nobody.
I would say, based on what we just saw out of the Biden administration and leadership, the answer is yes. But I go back to Martin Luther King's dream. If you look at Martin Luther King's dream, his dream was not to have people succeed or fail based on the color of their skin. It was to choose the best regardless of their skin color. And that was the dream he talked about that people seem to have forgotten. It was a dream he talked about in Memphis, my hometown, the day he was assassinated. He talked about the day before. And what his dream was not to have a pie that is, okay, how many transgender people do we have in the pie, or gay, or lesbian, or black, or white, or Hispanic, and have a kumbaya pie. His goal was that you never judge someone based on the color of their skin. His goal was to say the best should lead. The best should succeed. It should be merit-based. It should not be based on if you're black, white, Hispanic, gay, lesbian. I don't even think he could have imagined transgenderism the way we have it now. And that is what you're missing here, is that what Donald Trump is saying is, give me the best and the brightest. Don't give me some kumbaya pie that is a mandate for 17 transgendered and 17 gay and 17 straight and 17 black and 17 white and make up 100 people. He's saying, give me the best and the brightest, regardless of any of that. That was Martin Luther King's dream that he had for this country. And when you do DEI, the way that the left has done it, you're saying, no, we only want these certain things first and foremost, and everyone else shut up and sit down. That is not the American dream that Martin Luther King had.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Sissons, how can you disagree with that in all good conscience?
I don't even know what the hell he just said. He just ranted for like 2 minutes about absolutely nothing. Yeah, no, he just ranted for 2 minutes about absolutely nothing.
You don't understand what he said? It was pretty damn clear, dude.
Look, he wants to bring up MLK and his dream, and the idea that he supports Donald Trump while simultaneously supporting MLK is laughable. I think we need to have opportunity for everybody. We need to have opportunity for everybody. Just I'll explain it if you just stop talking. Nobody needs to hear you speak 24/7. I guarantee it. Donald, it's just ironic that he supports Donald Trump and MLK because, a lot of Donald Trump's policies are directly hurting a lot of the people that MLK advocated for. Even if you're talking about working class Americans, I'm happy to tell you again, if you would stop talking. Working class Americans, like with tariffs, for example, MLK spoke extensively about helping middle class Americans come up through the ranks. With these tariffs, it's just going to raise costs for everybody. All these folks have been complaining about high prices for 4 years.
Which tariffs?
25% tariffs on Canada, where we get a bunch of our lumber and our oil, for example, that'll make everything more expensive, and 10% more tariffs on China, 25% tariffs on Mexico. My God, this stuff is going. Every major economist agrees that this stuff is going to raise prices. So when you're saying, "Oh, I support MLK and I support Donald Trump," please acknowledge the hypocrisy of yourself, and also have some self-control. Have some self-control to not interrupt people all the time. Look at what was said in
Canada's newspapers today. If you look at what you just said today, what you don't understand is it's called leverage. And if you look at the markets today, they're responding to the idea that there's not going to be a 25% tariff on oil and liquid natural gas coming out of Canada.
You know, Donald Trump just talked about the one big bill he wants to pass when he gets into president before he took office, and he said that tariffs were included in that.
He has not implemented anything that you just described.
Oh, so wait, is Donald Trump lying?
He's not implemented any of it.
Is Donald Trump lying? Is Donald Trump lying about putting in tariffs then?
Look, I didn't know.
Harry, okay, let me jump in. Harry, if you read a book called The Art of the Deal, which I recommend you read, it's very entertaining. The Art of the Deal actually involves knowing how to leverage, right? It's a key part of doing business is that you don't always show your hand off the top, Harry. Anyway, look, there's a bit too much bro energy raging. We're going to have a little break for the bros for a couple of minutes. We're going to bring in Emily Maitlis from the Newscasters podcast, because the president's relationship with the traditional media, the enemy of the people, as he sometimes puts it, already appears to be changing. Major networks are notably shifting from dictator to diplomacy. Emily, I suspect, might not be so easily won over, and joins me now. We've got a clip of her here talking about Trump.